on, Niner Faithful? Brayden here from the Niner Power Podcast, coming at you live. I run the Instagram page 49ers Coverage here, joined by
Raj Melwani from the Instagram and Twitter page, Our SF 49ers. Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Today we're going to be previewing the Bucs and Niners game. What do you have to say about the game so far?
So first off, I just want to say football is finally back, Brayden. I am so excited. I can't even think straight. But this 49ers Bucs game, the game we've been waiting for as 49er fans, all of us have been waiting all off season, all the hype, all the preseason hype, all the drafts, all the free agency news, everything. It's finally coming to full steam, and we finally get to just let all the talking stop and let the game play for itself. I'm excited, and to me, of course, the biggest thing we got to kick it off with Jimmy Garoppolo. You know, coming off an ACL surgery, it's his first regular season game in almost a year. He's going up against the Buccaneers, and everybody expects Jimmy Garoppolo to have this season as the franchise quarterback. There's been a lot of talk on is Garoppolo the real deal? Is he a bust? The Niners have paid him so much money, and he's got to come up and show himself. And there's been a lot of critics out there saying this and that, and saying that he's not going to be the quarterback at the end of the year. At the end of the day, regardless of if you believe all this media jargon, he's going to be under the microscope all year, and it starts on Sunday. And I'm excited to see Jimmy Garoppolo silence everybody and prove himself. That third game against Kansas City, he came out and he looked good. If we can get that Garoppolo, that's the Garoppolo that's going to carry this team to a very good season. And that's what we all want as 49er fans. And, the big story is basically the quarterback battle. The quarterback battle is always the one that you want to look forward to. The quarterbacks are the guys that are going to be leading their teams, the captains, as you know. And he's going up against Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston himself has also had questions. So both of these guys have question marks going into this season. Is Jameis Winston going to be the starter for the Buccaneers? Career starts 54. He's 21-33. He's thrown for over 14,000 yards, 88 touchdowns, but 58 interceptions. An 87.8 rating.
Definitely. And looking at these two quarterbacks, both very highly in the spotlight, like you said, and flipping everything over to the practice report today, coming out on Wednesday, September 4th, per Matt Mayoko. We have limited from defensive end Nick Bosa with his ankle, and wide receiver Dante Pettis with the growing, center Weston Richburg with his knee, cornerback Jason Verrett with the ankle, and cornerback K'Wan Williams with the knee. All looking like they're going in a good direction, and this year starting off very strong on injuries, unlike last year. So, this year's injury staff is very much stepped up. Out of practice today from wide receiver Trent Taylor with his foot. He'll be back in a few weeks. As same goes for Jalen Hurd with his back. And then Joe Staley had his vet day. Players to look out for on the Bucs. Who pops in your mind right away when you say the Buccaneers?
Man, when I talk about Buccaneers, I think of Mike Evans, the receiver, their number one receiver. And if Jameis Winston is going to have a big day, and that's what the Bucs want. If they're going to have a good day, it all goes through Mike Evans. He's their best player, I think, on their whole team. Mike Evans is the guy that paces that offense. Chris Godwin on the other side of the receiving corps is pretty good, but everything's got to be keying in on Mike Evans. They have to be able to stop him. He's an elite receiver in this league, and you have to game plan for him. And with the 49ers, we all know that D-line is going to be putting the pressure. Can they get Winston, uncomfortable? Can they put him on his back and limit him from throwing the ball? Because the secondary needs that help from the front line of the Niners, and they're going to have their hands full of Mike Evans. If Winston gets time, he's going to be looking for Mike Evans. To me, that's the biggest guy I'm looking for on the Buccaneers. He did some work on us last season, and he's a good receiver. I respect his game, great player. And then on defense, they have a rookie, Devin White, linebacker, LSU. This kid looks so special. He was great in college. I watched a lot of them in college. I watched a lot of SEC football, and this guy has all the speed in the world. Looks like he could be a defensive rookie of the year candidate. And he's taken over for someone that we're going to talk about in Tampa Bay. He's taken over for Quan Alexander, and we'll get to him. But I think Devin White's some guy to look for on the Tampa Bay defense, and then Mike Evans on their offense. What about you?
For sure, and Mike Evans is definitely your threat. Very tall receiver, and last year he posted over 1,500 yards with 8 touchdowns. So very much Jameis Winston's first target. So I'm very excited to see how the 49ers defense stands up against Mike Evans and with the one-on-one competition with Richard Sherman. And players I want to point on defense here is they're running into a few injuries. So DN Jason Pierre-Paul, the 29-year-old, suffered a fractured vertebrae in his neck and will spend an extended period of time on IR. Played all 16 games last year with 12 and a half sacks. He had 58 tackles, and notably last year he had 20 QB hits and 16 tackles for loss. So that's a big loss coming from the Buccaneers. And also Levante David, he underwent a procedure to repair a torn meniscus in his left knee, but he is expected to start. David and White, two very good linebackers coming out Jimmy Garoppolo this year.
That's a great point, Brayden, because with our offensive line on the 49ers, people have said there's a lot of question marks. Are they going to be able to keep Garoppolo clean? Like I mentioned earlier, that's great that Pierre Paul's not going to be in there because that's the pass rush threat eliminated. That's one less guy that Staley and McGlinchey and everybody else have to worry about. Levante David is a great player. If he's in there, you got to worry about him. But at the end of the day, if he's limited at any point, that's going to be huge for the running game because Matt Breida and Tevin Coleman, they need to be able to get in those lanes. And if Levante David's limited, that's going to be huge. And then their defensive tackle, Vita V, he's been going through an injury, but he's expected to play. So he's another big person on this line. It sounds like their front seven's a little banged up. So this bodes well for the Niners, especially for keeping Garoppolo upright and clean in that pocket. We need that. Shifting gears, I want to go back to the Niners and talk about a player that I'm really excited to see on Sunday. So linebacker Quan Alexander, he was one of the big free agent acquisitions over the offseason. The 49ers spent some money and they made some trades and they brought in some players. One of them was linebacker Quan Alexander. They had this saga with Reuben Foster. That didn't play out well. And John Lynch knew he had to bring in a linebacker to solidify this linebacking corps. He had Fred Warner, but they needed that second guy. They needed that duo, and they brought in Quan Alexander. And he has a lot of things to prove. This is going to be an emotional return for him. He played in Tampa Bay for the first couple seasons in his career. He was drafted there as a rookie. He became a defensive leader, and he tore his ACL last season, so he's coming in with some energy and a lot to prove. Jameis Winston on his presser today said, we respect the guy. We knew what he can do, and I'm happy for him to get that contract in San Francisco. But we know he's going to come and bring that competition. But he says we are too. It's going to be brotherly competition. So this team is going to respect him. But at the end of the day, they know Quan Alexander is going to come and bring a lot of energy against the Buccaneers. And I'm excited to see him. He's making his 49er debut. The first game back, really, other than that preseason game, his first real game that he's going to be back after tearing that ACL. He's just going to be playing with some fire. This is a big game for Quan Alexander. And John Lynch making this move. A lot of people question it because they paid him coming off an ACL injury, but he said he plays with fire and they love his passion and his character. And I'm excited for him to kind of come out there and prove to people why John Lynch brought him in to pair with Fred Warner.
Just stats on Quan. He's just chasing everybody down. He's got an insane amount of tackles, so we can always rely on him to get the tackle. Moving on to the Bucs secondary here. Last year, third-year player safety Andrew Adams played 13 games with 4 starts, had 4 picks, and 9 pass defenses, who now appears to be trying out for the Bills. Could be a loss in the secondary for the Bucs, having just under half the interceptions for the team as the Bucs gathered 9 last year. So we're looking at a similar situation as the 49ers had with low turnovers on defense. So this could be very well just a QB game and just a chilled out game on defense. So just got to see what happens on Sunday.
I'm excited. I mean, there's a lot of things to look forward to. And also, you got to know the Buccaneers, they do have, some potential. A lot of people are saying this is going to be an easy victory for the Niners, but I wouldn't just say that because they do have a new head coach, Bruce Arians. He has good history against the 49ers. He was a coach at Arizona. He knows how to play the 49ers. He could scheme against us. He knows our schemes. So I think he's going to come out there and game plan well. So I don't think it's going to be an easy victory. And it's humid. It's hot in Florida. The 49ers out there practicing in a tent that they turned up the heat on and cycling out there like a sweat sauna. It's crazy. They're trying to do everything to prepare for this heat because that heat will really fatigue you and wear you down. And Florida's not an easy place to play. So I don't think it's going to be an easy victory or an easy game, like a lot of people are saying. Bruce Arians is a good coach. I expect them to be prepared for this team, for the 49ers. But at the end of the day, the 49ers are coming out. We have a lot of potential on this team. And if everything goes well, I think we do win this game. My prediction for the final score is 27-13 49ers. What about you?
Uh, honestly, I was just thinking about you, and I was thinking 27-17 Niners, so I'm giving them the extra field goal. But
You give them the extra field goal. That's nice. That's good of you. The home cooking. Let's see.
yeah, we'll see. I mean, I do have us getting about 3 touchdowns, which is two rushing and then 1 receiving. Who do you think gets the first receiving touchdown of the season?
Great question. I was just thinking about that. I honestly think that George Kittle is going to get the first touchdown. I posted this the other day. I think George Kittle's just going to be uh, increasing his touchdown totals this season. I know a lot of teams are going to be focusing on him, trying to limit him, but I think that Kittle can't be denied, and I think he's going to get a touchdown in the red zone. And then after that, they'll start keying on him, and then he's going to open it up for Matt Breida and everybody else. What about you?
I'm very shocked that you said George Kittle. I mean, you can't go wrong with him. He's definitely wanted to get in the end zone a bit more than last year, but his yards speak for itself. Very great player.
So now that I answered it, who do you think is going to score the first touchdown for the 49ers?
I personally think Kendrick Bourne is going to get the first touchdown. I feel like on the first drive, the Niners are going to go down the red zone. They're going to throw in Bourne just because they saw the fade that he had against the Broncos with Nick Mullins. So I think there might be a nice out route corner touchdown spot with Kendrick Bourne's name on it.
Oh, I like that answer. Kendrick Bourne. KB, do you love me in the red zone? That'd be nice.
On the first rushing touchdown, you got to throw it to Matt Breida.
Oh, easy. I think Matt Breida is going to. This is the thing. A lot of people have asked me, who do you think is the starter? I don't think Shanahan really cares about who's a starter. He kind of rolls with the hot hand. He splits the carries. They're both going to get plays out of the backfield as far as running. They're both going to get. I'm talking about Tevin Coleman as both. Tevin Coleman and Breida. They're both going to get some plays out of the backfield as far as pass catching. And I think he's going to split the carries. But I think Breida is going to make he's going to make the most of his chances. He had 5.6 yards per carry last season, and I expect Breida probably to have the first touchdown. But I think Coleman's going to have a good game. I think he'll have a passing touchdown or a catching touchdown through the air.
I think that Matt Breida is going to have one hell of a game. He says, quote, "It feels great to go into the first game with a full team, and I just can't wait to see what we can do." And as a fan's point of view, it's gonna be nuts seeing the team walk in with all the players on the roster and not too many injuries.
I'm excited. I'm excited for Sunday, Brayden. I cannot even wait. Bang, bang, Niner gang.
Thanks so much for watching.